first project built for the blacks in the South, and that was in the 1920s. And we left there. I left there. I went to home. I went to home elementary school in first grade. When I got to second grade, we moved by Miami-Dade, North Campus, by 104. And I left there. I went to home. I went to Miami Park, and later on, I went to Rescue. Senior high school. I went to Edison for a minute. I left Edison and went to Central. And I left Central and went to the Mac next door. And growing up, I've been a boys' school. I was kind of like street. I've been in the streets since I was 9. My parents. See, what happened was, my parents they broke up. When you got your mom and your dad, you one break up, and then it's kind of tough for the kids. Married, but my daddy went to prison. Mama got a boyfriend, new husband. You know how kids did. They don't like no individuals. That basically a lot of kids probably took that fact. When the mom and daddy raised up, they married and they break up. One feel this way, one feel that way. But other than that, I thought I was pretty good, in school. But one thing about me, I always been loyalty. Loyalty. I always been loyalty. Just like right now, if we in here now, us five here right now. If something go down, I'm with it. Yeah, I ain't gonna leave you hanging. You go somewhere and something happen. You got who you thought your friend, he turned his back on you. You can't live like that. You go somewhere, you go together. You come back together.
What about you?
Shit, I was tough. Coming up, you know what I'm saying? I went to Edison. We was out there. We went to Edison a little bit riding together. That's when all the little kids was snatching pocketbooks and robbing and stealing, and we went through that little phase there. You know what I'm saying? And I was a good athlete, so I went to Edison. I was wrestling, so when I would get to the senior high from the junior high, I wind up getting in trouble. And then I went to MacArthur, and then I went to American High, and I finished at American High. But I came up in the project graveyard. I came up on 15th. We moved to the graveyard. I'm around all kind of little bad kids, and that's just what it was back then.
You did mention that the project home in Liberty City was one of the first that was built back in the 1920s. Like, segregation was like real bad down south of Miami at that time?
Yeah, they had a wall. They had a wall, just like my book. My book, if a person get my book, it's a good read, and then it got history about Miami. It got history, and then I think that's a hell of a book. You read that book, you'll learn something. Like any book you get, you're gonna learn something anyway. Just like Booker T. Washington said, any book you pick up, you're gonna learn something. But really, when I think back when I was young, I did a lot of stuff was kind of, a little tough, but that's the way how life present me. And I look back right now, I could have been a pro boxer. I could have been a pro boxer because I'm good with my hands. You hear me?
Can you throw them, boss?
I throw them, not either hand. I throw either hand.
Either hand, they gonna drop. If they gonna drop, they gonna drop. They gonna drop, boss.
Yeah. I remember I first cut the Ike, and I told him, I said, hey, man, I don't play now. He said I told him around the house. He said, well, you know what, take care of your business. And I see me do it a couple of times. He said, man, You can't get business. You know, I'm like, you know, hey, but I respect people. But you know, mother got a line. I put him in a place. You know,
Big boss.
I put him in a place. Even in prison.
So, yeah.
Hey, you know something too?
Little man.
Hey, you know something too?
Goddamn.
I say, you know something too? I save a lot of people all my life. You know, I save a lot of people. In the streets, in prison. I save a lot of people. Bert, you know what I mean? Bert was in prison together.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of dudes be shaking and stuff like that, but when they look around, they got a big homeboy.
Yeah.
You know,
I want to ask you one question, boss. Yeah. Was I shaking? Was I shaking in prison?
Nah, you was shaking, but you know, you ain't know. See, you ain't been what I've been through. You know,
yeah, I don't see how. I've been in the penitentiary.
Yeah, but the Fed prison. All right, but
one simple question: was I shaking? That's all.
Nah, you was shaking.
Okay, that's all I want.
You can't shake that pressure on you. You can't shake that pressure on you. You can't shake. You got 27 years.
You got it. You can't shake. You know.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be.
You know, I said that to say this here, man. You know, I was a man in there. I'm a man out here. I'm a man out here. I'm a man in there. You know what I mean? That's right. So when it's time to man up, I'm a man up, and there ain't a whole lot of rap to that. For real, you know what I'm saying? But we're going to talk about this documentary. We got Miami Kingpins coming out 4th of July weekend, and it's fire, and we got something hot coming down the pipe, and it's smoking. So make sure you tune in, Miami Kingpins, 4th of July weekend. While you pop firecrackers.
You got three. You got three of them.
You got three. This the first time in history. Be a part of history. This the first time in history that 3 documentaries come out in one time. 3 documentaries. We coming out with 3 documentaries. You know what I'm saying? We coming out with 3 documentaries. First time it ever been done. You know what I mean? And we the documentaries is based on the movie, true stories, and we going straight to movie. We're going straight to the streets with it. You know what I'm saying? So we need y'all's support to make this a success so we could go straight to the streets and start filming. And you too could be on in the film, because we're using local people for extras.
Yeah, first time, you know, this is going to be the first time a black got a big documentary. It's going to be the first time you're going to see some, like the way blacks do it, like the way we do it.
Especially down here in Miami.
Yeah.
Especially down here in Miami.
Especially
well, Miami different. You know, man, this is just like Florida. You know what I'm saying? Miami ain't Florida. You know what I'm saying? Miami's something totally different, man. You know what I'm saying? We outcasted the whole Florida. So we just like, I look at us like a little island. What they say it is, Wall Street South. Baby Babylon. We finna take Miami and turn it into baby Hollywood, real talk, no real spill. We coming now. You know what I'm saying? So y'all get your popcorns ready, and we finna start. We about to start filming in Miami, and we got 3 or 4 different episodes or different shows coming to you to a town near you soon. So stay tuned.
Nice. I do want to talk about this as well, because a lot of people, especially in 2025, they talk about mental health as well. Right. Want to ask, how's
I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm crazy.
I want to ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your mental health currently? Both of you guys.
I'm crazy.
I think, hey, you know what? You know what? When people always talking about mental health and they this and that, you gotta do. You got to pray.
Yeah.
Prayer. God answers prayer for real.
Yeah, well, I'm crazy, man. So I'm certified crazy. So don't pay. Hey, listen, I'm certified crazy. So and I'm on joke time. So don't pay me no money.
But no, you saying that when you first got in, we was chopping it up about that, like, God be on time.
Yeah,
you were saying that.
Yeah. You know.
Hey, but I think you know what? A lot of people think like they got stressed. They be stressed out and stuff like. Pick a book up, do some exercise, change your habits. That might help you mental, really. You hear me? You know, change up. You know, a lot of people talking about everybody got problems. You know, a smiley face it might be a sad side.
A lot of people do wear that mask before they step outside.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta check on your friends, make sure if they really okay.
Right.
Yeah. So after school, before you got into the lifestyle, what's one thing that attracted you into the lifestyle? What got you into there? I mean, besides, you did have the cards that was dealt to you. You went through a lot growing up in the projects and everything like that. But what's that one pivotal moment that, pushed you further in?
Really, the streets, the money, and the women, cars, everybody different. Just like right now, my daddy had about 18, 19, 20 kids. My granddad had a lot of kids. But when you look at reality, I got a brother, one went in the Marine Corps, one played football. I've been in the streets. My other brother don't do nothing, just lay around the house, you hear me? So you got, and just like the streets, ain't even pretty, you got all walks of life. And everybody ain't gonna be the same. Because you know what? A lot of people talk about people in the projects, they ain't gonna be nothing. You got people in the projects, they born in the projects, and guess what? They be successful. Be multimillionaires from the project. They talk about the project, it ain't what you come from, it's just what you wanna do. You know what the lifestyle you want. Like just like when you grow up, you got three uncles, and you got two aunts. You watching all five of them. When you're a little boy, just like a duck watching the mama. So you gonna see what uncle you want to be like.
I came up a little different. I came up in that. I was on one of the most drug infested streets in the country. So I came up around that. So I seen it. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I really, you know what I mean? And what I seen, they didn't have 9 to 5s. And they had all the nice cars and the houses and the jewelry. So, that's what kind of like infatuated me with this street life, you know what I mean? The street lights, you know what I mean? That's what kind of like really, really, you know what I'm saying, attracted me to it. But I seen it, you know what I'm saying? They used to, on 15, they used to have a clock club. They had the pool over there on 18th, and then the cotton club, the Ebony Bar. They had the Ebony Bar across the street. So they had all this down this whole strip. Restaurants and bars and stuff like that whole strip. Then down the street, they used to have remember they had
Palace down the street.
Palace on 18th. But I'm saying down the street on 15th, they had a movie theater back there back in the day.
Yeah. The movie theater.
You know what I'm saying? So I came up around that kind of life, you know what I'm saying? So, it was very influencing on me, you know what I mean? While most kids, a lot of kids ain't seen what I seen. At a young age, I seen people get killed. I seen people get raw. I see all kinds, I see junkies. You know what I mean? So my life and what I saw at an early age, was different from the ordinary kids. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it was good or bad, but it gave me a jump.
At that time, who were the ones that you looked out to? Like, who were the big homies at that time? Like, who was someone that you seen as an influencer?
15, they on 15th Avenue, they had Crack, they had Ernest, Afric, Cali Code, you know what I'm saying? Forget About It. Bob, they had Bob, you know what I'm saying? They had a lot of players that came through that time and got Law Dog, Deputy Dog. They had a lot of players back then that was getting money on that script. It's a hell of a script, man, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, it was one of the most money-getting scripts in the country. 15th Avenue, Scroll.
Yeah, well, yeah. Matter of fact, I had a spot on 69 Terrace.
Yeah.
I had a spot, made some money. Even when I got grown, hustling real good, it was all right.
And listen, if anybody, all the females and everybody gonna ride through 15, and the cars up there lit up like Disney World.
Jesus.
So
Christ.
you know this. I'm talking about way back then, man. I'm talking about way back then, man. You know what I'm saying?
15. Everybody, you know, just like when me and Bert, our time.
Yeah.
You know, people getting money all the time. They get a new Benz or something. They ride down 15.
15.
You got to come down 15.
You got to come down 15. I don't care if you got something brand new coming down.
Come down 15.
That's a scroll, man. I'm telling you, that was the scroll. That was the script, man. You know what I mean? And remember this. We'll be filming on 15th soon. Real life spill. You know what I'm saying? We're finna bring all that time and essence back and all that to film. You know what I'm saying? We're finna get very creative. We're coming out with more than one series, you know, TV series. So, you know, we finna go to work. You know what I mean? Yeah, we finna get busy with this TV thing. You know what I'm saying? It's all about TV now. TVs and movies.
July 4th weekend definitely
July
cannot
4th
wait.
weekends at the kickoff and the start off of history, because if you give us the eyes and tune in with us, we're gonna make history. We're gonna put Miami on the map like it's supposed to be put on the other side of the tracks. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man, nice.
Not that way, but that way.
Not that way.
Please. Yeah.
All right, so let's go a little further. So, past teenage years, into your late 20s, going into your 30s, you get money now. You get some change. You get some, you know.
Yeah.
What's one of your first big major purchases? House, car, what?
I got my big purchase. I had a house. My big purchase was a house.
How many rooms?
4 bedroom.
What about you?
5 and 3 baths, house, and and a brand new Rolls Royce with trues and vows, killing the hoes. No, I'm just joking.
So see, your thing was,
I was just joking.
Your thing was cars, though. I hear that. Everybody know that. Your thing was cars.
Yeah. So you know that. You know, I play a very pivotal role in that stuff there. You know, like the dunks and stuff like that. You know, we set the trend with that. You know what I'm saying?
I hear that. Some you did set the trends for.
Yeah, we set the trend with that. We set the
people don't know
trends
that.
with the jewels. We trendsetters with the attire, with the fine vines, dressed to the nines. We did all that. That's what we do. You know.
You know the old saying say when we were young, getting money. Money don't make us. We make money. You hear me? It was a little club. But it was a little club on 15. We used to go to when I was about TH.
Yeah.
1340 called Hollywood Swinging.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, Hollywood.
Too many dudes don't know about that.
Right on 15. You
Right,
know,
right
it's
on 15.
like a team disco.
Right,
you know.
right. See, too many dudes don't.
Yeah,
see,
yeah.
Bert, no, he stay on
Hollywood
15.
music. Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't stay on 15, but a lot of guys like me. You know, when I grew up, I say, hey man, I like gators, wearing tellers, you know, silk shirt, derby. That's how I grew up. But all the time, it comes from town. A lot of towners can dress, and then later on, you know, we dress. I've been wearing tellers since I was 9 years old.
Sheesh.
Tellers, derby, cause I used to snatch and grab before I even.
That's what I was telling y'all. You know, coming up, we wasn't the ordinary kids coming up. We always been fast. You know, fast. We always been fast in the average kids. So we was like getting money on different ways, even at that level, where a lot of kids was going to school. We out creeping.
Yeah.
You know, creeping is when you go in people's stuff and they don't know you in there, you creeping them while they in there.
Yeah, get the money.
So that used to be our game. Then we used to snatch books. Then, you know, we just went through different phases as kids, you know, doing different things, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, B&E and stuff like that. But, you know, that was just that typical kid, you know, coming up in the projects. Like we coming up trying to fend for ourselves and make a way for ourselves, you know, family, you know what I'm saying? Even though we're not glorifying it. What we doing now is saying, hey man, you don't have to do that now. This is what this what the documentary is all about. Saying, okay, we did all this here, but now we making film, we're making movies, and we're doing something positive, and we're making a contribution to the community, and you know what I mean. And we here to do great things, you know what I mean. You know what I mean, and raise our people. You know,
because you're not trying to glorify. You're trying to show them that this is what you went through, so they don't have to go through.
You have different phases in life, and we at the phase now where we were able to reach out to the kids and let them know, hey man, it's a better way. You know what I'm saying? Than thinking criminally. You got to think. You know what I'm saying? Positive, because positive things happen for positive thinkers. So you want to be at a positive thought and make a plan in your life and figure out what you want to do in life. But also make sure it's right, because you could get further in life by doing right than wrong. So, it's very, very, very important, you know what I'm saying, that we get this message out, you know what I'm saying, to the youth. You know what I mean? Because we got to, we got to learn to stick together as a people, because you got all these different races, all of them stick together except us. So this is a gap that's been this a gap that we didn't feel since slavery, and we still don't look out for each other, try to work with each other, try to make a way for each other, or nothing like that. That's something that we really have to change, and we got to start spending dollars in the black economy and supporting the black economy like we getting ready to do with this TV thing. Not only as we filming, we are supporting the black economy. You know what I'm saying? Because them black vendors, you know what I mean, and people that have different businesses that we can bring up with us, we're gonna bring them up. You know what I'm saying? With black economic.
Mm-hmm.
You know
That's
what
the
I mean?
one.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? You got to make a change, but you can't make a change unless you can show the people the change. The people got to be able to see, because everybody go with the scene, don't nobody go with the unseen, but the people want to see it.
They want to see the end product.
Right.
They want to see the work that came with it.
Right. You know what I'm saying? It's just like if you being successful, you can talk to a kid because they're going to pay more attention to you because they see success. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. How has your motivation changed from growing up, in Miami to right now in 2025? How has it changed?
My motivation is through the roof, because I'm looking at TV now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very excited about that, and that's something that I want to do wholeheartedly. You know what I mean? So I feel real up about it, and all I'm asking the people is to tune in.
July
4th to July weekend. You know what I'm saying? And you got all that weekend. You got a 3-day weekend. You could tune in. You know what I mean? And make history. Not only that, just tuning in, making history, man. Because you're doing a great thing, for great people.
Exactly.
That's going to make a change. You know what I'm saying?
That's
in the city.
Like. That's what we need.
Yeah.
That's definitely what we need. Let's talk about the transitions from Florida going on to Georgia.
Well, when I got on the road, that's how the Miami boys really found it, by getting on the road, getting money on the road. So, and then everywhere we go, you kind of like,
where a lot of people got the style, wearing Dickies, you hear me? And then one thing about Miami, just like me, when I was young, I stayed home base because everybody can't get money in Miami.
Right.
See the price go. See everything start down here and then it go up here. Go up here to New York. Just like right now, you buy a banana down in Miami. When you go to New York, the price change. It changed. So a lot of people go up, take Miami game and go to Georgia, Tennessee. Everybody, all the races. Just like right now, you got some brothers over here. You got 7 brothers. Y'all all over the place. And you go to Miami, you get a better price. You get Miami, go up there, it's more money. So you're gonna make money.
Mm-hmm. How'd y'all make an impact in these different places? Like how'd y'all really, make things shake differently? Like what are some of the
Shit, we took organized crime down there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Well, down here
Prices.
where it was almost prices.
Prices better. Like I said, say you say you down here, you got a brother or aunt. You say you in Tennessee, and the price down here is cheap, and then you go to Tennessee, and you go to Tennessee, and then the other Tennessee dudes, they can't sell like you because you get a better price. You hear me? So you get the air, and you go to. They say this guy from Tennessee, man, this dude here, how you got his price so low, and we can't make no money. But you got a brother down here.
Yeah, at that time, no, we was the hub. You know what I mean? And then we had the best prices. Everybody from all over the country was coming down here. You know what I mean? Because we had the best prices at the time. You know what I'm saying? But since then, things don't change. But we was the drug capital back then. So we was able to. Miami was founded and built on drug capital. To be honest, you know what I'm saying? So that's the facts. That's facts. The neon lights and all that.
Guess what? When all the blacks had money, they lock them up, take their houses, and do all type of stuff, and leave the rest of them out here, and they ain't take their stuff.
Some heavy hitters back in Miami. Griselda Blanco. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Matter of fact, Griselda Blanco son, Michael Corleone, is on a documentary.
Michael Corleone.
Michael Corleone.
Every rappers talk about
Drizel's
him.
only living son is on a documentary.
No.
This is history, man. I'm telling you something great, man. The undisputed world champion Mike Tyson is on the documentary, man. So this thing here, man, we got something hot coming down the pipe and it's smoking, Joe. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, we got Trick, Trina, Rick Ross. We got all them people, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? From Miami, coming, representing the crib. And I want to give a shout out to Trick. I want to give a shout out to Ross. I want to give a shout out to Trina. Or should I say it the other way? Trina. Ross and Trick. We want to give a shout out to them, and we want to tell them we greatly appreciate. You know what I'm saying? We greatly appreciate what they did for the project. They came out and they looked out and they did it big, man. And we want to thank them and let them know we sincerely appreciate their generosity for blessing us. You know what I'm saying? With their talent and they sight, they vision. You know what I'm saying? Because they telling it on them, man. You got to see this thing, man. This thing's serious, man. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
again,
July
4th
weekend.
4th of July weekend. You know what I'm saying?
Stay tuned.
We coming live.
I definitely want to know because I did hear stories of you hanging out with Mike Tyson. I definitely want to hear more about that. When they say you took him out.
Oh yeah, well we took him to we brought him all through Miami. We took him to different parts of Miami. You know what I mean, and let the people see him at the same time. They hadn't seen no world champion. They probably a lot of them didn't even know what it was. What he was, but once they see other people reacting, you know what I'm saying, they kind of caught on, and that's a historic moment. What me and Mike did, you know what I'm saying, for the city in Miami. Miami, what we did in Miami, it's historic, you know what I mean?
Jesus, yeah.
Yeah, it's a historic time, you know what I'm saying? It's been documented, you know what I mean? So we move in the group.
Y'all had a ball, man. Y'all painted the town red.
Yeah, we
around what time was that? Because everybody is asking the same question. They want to know around what time was it?
Really, right?
I want to know if it was like during training camp or after training camp.
Yeah, it was after training camp. When the champ training, I usually don't, unless I go out of town and he getting ready to fight, I go see him train or whatever. But I never took him out of his routine. We never try to get him out of his routine. We let the champ do what he do. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, when it's work time,
He's one of the greatest of all times, and I want to give him a shout out too. And I want to let Mike Tyson know that I'm greatly appreciative of what he did. You know what I'm saying? And I really appreciate his generosity. You know what I mean? And I look forward to doing some other TV projects and movies with Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That
part.
Good old Tyson.
Yeah.
What's one of your favorite people hanging out with?
I like to hang. Me and Mike was good. I like to hang out with Mike. Me and Mike have a lot of fun together. You know what I mean? That was one of my favorite persons to hang out with. To be real, you know what I mean? Whenever we kick it, you know what I'm saying? I had sent him I sent Mike a little video the other day, and it said, you know what I'm saying? You know, we don't get a chance to spend it. You know, we don't kick it all the time, but when we do, you know what I'm saying? It's history. You know.
Well, you know,
because I know you're more so of a homebody. You don't like being, you don't like going out like that. You're more of a homebody.
I go out, but at the time that was down, I was in the Fed.
Yeah.
When Brady was doing, I was in the Fed. I was in the Fed, but the Fed locked me up at 24, got out when I'm 55 years old. You know, it just been God.
And that's another reason for you to do the right thing, because you know what I'm saying, prison ain't no joke, and that ain't no place where no one want to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, that ain't no place where you want to be. So you want to figure out with all this internet, you know what I'm saying, and different ways to accumulate capital, to do it the other way, do it another way, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a long journey, you know. You know, everybody got, you go through a detour, you go just like life. When you're 5, you go 10, 15, 20, like when you was a little boy, you grow up, you watch it just like right now. You doing your thing now, do what you like to do.
Anything you wish you can do different? If you could change anything.
What I would do, I wouldn't tell the truth. Hey man, only praying hand God dealt me, man. And that's what it is. I'm only praying hand God dealt everybody in life, you know. Some people die young, die old, you know. We all got choices.
Anything pivotal moment that replays in your head over and over till this day?
Yeah, when I was going to jail, when they knocked it in, yeah, you know that play over in your head because you know you made a mistake, but now you move on, and now you're looking for bigger and better things now. So you know what I'm saying? I just heard of that one. You know what I mean? Because I just think about that a lot of times because that cost me a whole lot. But now, you know what I'm saying? I'm on a good foot, baby. I'm on a good foot, you know?
I just feel kind of a little from a kid. You know, you ain't raised your kids, your daddy locked up, and you know, it's kind of tough. You know, you left kids out there and you in jail, there and there, but really, I just say, man, I tell my kid that I'm sorry that I wasn't there physically, but I was there supportive, you know.
I mean, being in jail, what's one thing that being in that solitude taught you that freedom could not teach you?
Yeah. You know, you can't. Sometimes people be in different situations. You can't help but go to. You gotta sacrifice. You gotta deal with it. You know, some people go to jail. They can't do it. Some people have never been in jail before, but they might get life, but they got to deal with it. You got to deal with the situation. You know, you got to deal with it. If you can't deal with it, what you gonna do? You going crazy? You can't fault nobody.
Much you. One thing that, being behind the bars taught you that freedom can't teach you.
The essence of a woman and freedom You know what I'm saying? You know, you got the only way you're gonna learn that, the real essence of a woman and the value of freedom,
Go to jail.
is to go to jail. That you got you once you if you're
Women go.
yeah, you know, because you know whatever woman you got, boy, it's hard to keep them when you go to jail. And then not only that, there when you get free, when you free, you know what I mean? It's nothing like freedom, man. There's no amount of price in the world you could put on freedom, man. Freedom. You know, just like when they freed the slaves, man, it's nothing like freedom, man. Because that ain't nothing but a modern day slavery. That ain't nothing but that prison, the whole prison shebang, that ain't nothing but a modern day slavery. So, you know, they find ways. You know
some everybody say, ain't nothing like freedom, right? That's why the game's so messed up now. Because a lot of guys ain't never been in the streets, and they sell a product, and they go to jail, they start crying. They start crying and telling everybody. You know what I mean? They want that money. They want to make that money, and they want to do this and that.
But they don't know about that risk.
Yeah, but soon they get busted. They going to tell everybody. Just like the movie Superfly. Back in the day, Superfly come out in 1972. It's a movie called Superfly. They had Eddie in it. Eddie, every time Eddie get busted, he go tell all his friends. And
he drop it. They call it drop it down.
Yeah,
he drop it down on all his friends.
Yeah, all of them.
But Superfly, he had an end game. See, a lot of these young dudes that's in the game now, they don't understand that you got to play the end game. You got to know where to exit at. If you're not,
right. That's right.
If you don't, you know what I'm saying?
That's right. You going to jail,
you're going to jail or you dead.
You dead.
Because it's only two things, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? Especially if you're getting real money, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you got robbers from all over the world just think they could come and take it. That's why if you ain't about that work, you know what I'm saying? You got to be real careful how you expose yourself.
Yeah.
If you with it, you with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm with it. You with it, boss?
Yeah, I don't play. I don't play, man. What I got these big hands for? Big hands, big feet.
Boss say he'll play.
At any point in your life, while you was jammed up, did you ever feel like the streets forgot about you?
Hey, man, you know, once I was still. They would still talk about me, you know what I'm saying? They kept me alive while I was all the way gone. They made songs and all kind of.
Convertible Burt, yes.
Yeah, so you know, it kind of like, it kept me alive. And shout out to Rick Ross and Trick Daddy and all the rappers that kept my name alive and kept me alive while I was gone, man. Your generosity is greatly appreciated. I appreciate you all, man, to magnitude that you would never understand, because I truly appreciate it.
You say pick up wherever. Shoot. Okay. All right. Cool. We were saying to keep your name alive. Shout out to Trick. Shout out to Ross.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And all the rappers. You got different rappers that don't say my name in songs and kept me alive. I want to let them know that I greatly appreciate it for real. You know, for keeping me alive and keeping my name strong out here. You know what I'm saying? Because now we got something we could build off of, man, and I want to, just give them my appreciation, Grateful, thankful, and I said with humble. I'm humble, and I said, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Even though Wayne bossing up like the Sawyers, that's one of his lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good though.
Yeah.
I want to ask a question as well. What does real wisdom look like in 2025? What does real wisdom look like in 2025?
You got to pay attention to the rearview mirror, man. You know what I mean? Your wisdom, you got to pay attention to the rearview mirror, man.
You got to keep your eyes open.
Keep your eyes open, man.
Keep your eyes open.
I like that. Like, if you don't know what's behind you,
right?
You don't know where you're going.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna go to the. You know what? I'm gonna start going to juvenile detention center and talk to a lot of young people. You know.
Hey, man, that'd be great, Sawyer.
Yeah.
Boss, big boss, that'd be great, man. You know what I mean? Because you got some stories. You don't been through that. You got some stories. You got some stories to tell them, and you might can inspire some of them young guys. To do the right thing. Mm-hmm. You might can inspire them to do the right thing because see, when you free, and you don't been through that, see, you could tell a story and you can explain to them from a different perspective for somebody different. Different from somebody that's coming in there giving them a lecture that never experienced it, don't know the angles of it, and the ins and outs and the ups and downs and the turnaround. But you see, you've been through it, so you could you could probably change some lives. So that'd be a great thing, boss.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you know what?
Especially since you have the book too.
Right. Yeah. Hey, listen, when I was in prison, I got the whole class to get the GED.
No.
A whole class.
No.
What you did? Slapped it into him?
No, just talk to him. You can't slap him. No. I tell him, read books. Keep reading books and carry over grow. Keep reading books. Keep reading books, man.
That'll do it. 4th of July weekend.
Yeah. Again, 4th of July weekend. Kingpins coming to a town near you.
Mm-hmm. A three series.
Yeah, three-part series.
Nice.
You get 3 for how much? 3 $12.99. You see all 3 of them for $12.99.
No.
A bonus.
Oh, no, we got to get that.
Yeah, $12.99. You can't beat it.
You get all 3 on $12.99 bonus.
After watching the series, what's going to be one actionable step you want your viewers to do, or one actionable step you hope your viewers do after watching the series?
I want their opinion.
Mm.
Yeah, and follow the process, man, because we just beginning. You know what I'm saying? We about to cook it up. We cooking it up as we speak, and we get ready to put out some dope TV series and films out. We in the movie lane now. You know what I'm saying? We in the movie game. Hey man, and we taking Scribe. We taking it in Scribe, and I think we're gonna do real well. I know we're gonna do real well. Yeah. So this a new chapter, and we learning a lot of things on the fly. You know what I mean? But hey man, you know what I'm saying? We moving in the right direction.
Stay tuned. July 4th.
Tune in, July 4th, 4th of July weekend, Kingpins, 3 series.
You get a bonus. You get all 3 bonus for $12.99.
Oh yeah, that was dope.
That was all right?
Y'all gonna edit it?